How do we have contact with demons? Let me just read off to you a list. The first one that Paul says is to be guarded against is right in our text in 1 Corinthians 10, images. Worshipping images of any kind, idols, is an intrusion for Satan to come into our life and influence us. You say, what do you mean by that? Well, the most literal and obvious kind of a place for a demon to intrude us that is denounced all the way through the Bible is the worshipping, the falling down, as Isaiah 44:17 says, before an image. Now listen, even statues or other images of Christ are not to be revered or worshipped. What was the golden calf deal in Exodus 32-34? What were they doing? They were worshiping Jehovah shaped like a cow. They weren't worshiping cows. They were worshiping the true God with an idol. And God says, I will destroy them all. Because God cannot be portrayed with an idol. And God the Son can't be either. And the worship of Christ, any likeness of Him, any statues and images of Him are not to be revered or worshipped. John 4:24 says that God is a spirit. And if you want to worship Him in spirit and in truth. And we're non-liturgical Christians. But we should be on guard, whether in our public worship or in private devotion, of associating any place, any picture, any pattern of worship too closely with God. It's easy when we do that for these things to come between us and God. Be careful about images of any kind and associating spiritual devotion to those images. Secondly, we're not to worship angels, because that's a demon entrance. It says in Colossians 2:18, let no one defraud you of your prize by the worship of angels. Angels are powerful beings. The Apostle John was overcome with awe, and he fell at the feet of the angel that was speaking to him in Revelation 19:10. This is an apostle. This is one that walked with Christ, and he got near an angel, and he just fell down and grasped the angel and was just overwhelmed with awe and worship. And what did the angel say to him? He said, don't do that. I'm your fellow servant, and I'm the servant of your brethren who worship God. Don't worship me. Don't worship angels. There's a real big deal on angels, or there has been the last few years. We have to be careful. That's an entrance for demons, because Satan is an angel of light. Remember, he's not hideous and ugly and horrible. He is an angel of light. He clothes himself with light. I saw one of his mouthpieces has got a new book out. Betty Eady has written another book about Satan. And he is beautiful, only she calls him Jesus, because that's what Satan wants to be known as. And the bestseller for 4 years has written another book. The Embraced by the Light woman has got another Gospel of Satan out on the bestseller list. Did you know Christians come to me and show me that book and they say, isn't this a delightful book? It just makes me feel so good. Satan doesn't come across as a monster. He comes across as an angel of light. Be careful about worshiping angels or any of their writings. We should also be careful about greed. And it says in the book of Acts chapter 5 verse 3 that Peter said to Ananias, why has Satan filled your heart to lie to the Holy Spirit? Did you know that covetousness in any form is a place for demons to enter into our lives? Those who covet or are greedy worship at the shrine of materialism, and that is probably the most powerful idol and popular one of our day. And the scriptures say in Ephesians 5:5, Paul said, for this you know of a certainty that no immoral, impure person or covetous man who is an idolater has a place in the kingdom of God. Did you know this morning that if we long for things, that we have given a door open to demons in our lives? Greed is an open door to Satan. Lust is an open door to Satan. Paul speaks in Philippians 3:18 that those who are lustful, whose end is destruction, whose God is their appetite, who glory in their shame, the person whose mind and desires and longings and appetites are set on fleshly things are idolatrous, and they've given an open door to demons. Finally, this morning, amusements can be an open door to demons. Exposing our mind to satanic ideas and stories are to be constantly avoided. Movies that follow the theme of Satan and his demon. The whole concept these days of science fiction that portrays these superhuman forces that can come and enter from cosmic places, who knows where, and they're empowering these people to do all kinds of things. An unguarded mind will just think and think and think about that. That's why the Apostle Paul said in 2 Corinthians 10, verses 4 and 5, to cast down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God. Do you know what one of the most blinding things in our society is? That we have a whole generation of young people that can hardly tell the difference between the fantasy world of science fiction and movies and the real world, the world of God and sin and humans and redemption and the Bible. And they know more about the inhabitants of Alderaan than they know about the Bible. And they spend their time. It used to be baseball cards was the big deal, but now it's the fetish of this whole imaginary world. And they spend their time in these games and in these books and in these movies, and they hardly have place in their mind for God. And that's why the Scriptures say that we're to cast down those imaginations and bring every thought into captivity to the obedience of Christ. Why? Because a mind that is unguarded and opened to the Gnostic views of the force, that's just old-fashioned Gnosticism, an eternal power that's neither good or evil, and you can harness it either way. George Lucas didn't think of that. That's Satan's lie from the Garden of Eden on. And Christians are being seduced by the glamorous movies into having these thoughts, and it's bringing a foothold for Satan. And you meet a lot of young people, they can't explain why they're discouraged and depressed, and they're paralyzed, and they can't read the Bible, and they could not even think of witnessing to people because there just seems to be a gloom over their life. Well, Satan has a hold. He's got a ground. Television programs dealing with the occult, either directly or indirectly, must not be watched. Music that popularizes demonic activities, words, the mantras, the statements in a lot of these songs are coming right out of the East. They're coming right from India and from the ancient mystery religions, and they're coming right into American culture. Literature that feeds one's minds on lewd information. I read in the paper yesterday that the current problem in our public libraries is that these young people through the internet are tapping right into the most lewd and sensuous and filthy material that no one has ever had access to. And they can just watch it on the screen in the public library, free of charge. Bonnie said, I read the article to her, she said, what do you think that's going to do to our world? I said, I think another flood is coming. Because every imagination of our society's thoughts is only evil continually. Actual occultic practices, black magic, astrology, looking up your zodiac sign, fetishes, talismans, fortune-telling, seances, all of those things, voodoo dolls, candles with occultic significance, incense with occultic significance, excessive superstition, religious practices that highlight the emotional, cultic, satanic worship, tarot cards, Ouija boards, crystal balls, black cubes, and related occultic practices, all give an entrance for Satan. A few years ago, I was visiting a family, and I was discipling the husband. He told me, I'm always struggling. He said, I just can't seem to get anything done with the Lord. And he took me down to his basement. We walked through their game section on the way to his workshop. And, they had a Ouija board. They had one of those black things you shake up, and it gives you messages. And I said, what is that doing in here? He said, those are just games. They're not just games. Anything with occultic significance is a place for Satan to have an entrance into our lives.